Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. We are back with another data cast for another trade that went down this afternoon in the National Hockey League as the Colorado Avalanche made another deal in addition to the Casey Middlestat trade. This one was before the Middlestat trade, actually, though, as they went ahead and acquired the right-handed defenseman they were looking for in Sean Walker from the Philadelphia Flyers, essentially for a first-round pick in 2025 and Ryan Johansen. Let's start breaking this down, looking at the official trade, the full deal right here. The Avalanche should trade a conditional first and Ryan Johansen, only a conditional that it's top 10 protected. Avalanche, one of the top teams in the league, if not the top team in the Central at the very least. So don't got to worry about that. It should be a lock for the 2025 first round pick right there. In addition, the Avalanche are also sending Ryan Johansen to the Flyers. Johansen brought in, hopefully kind of be that second line center, have a good offensive output to be enough to fill that gap. Hasn't really been that. He's been relegated to a bit more of a depth role. Wasn't really working out for the Avalanche. So they went out and got Casey Middlestat. You got Ross Colton, who's playing so well as third line center. Ryan Johansen then becomes excess. So he is traded to the Flyers. The Flyers immediately waive him and will send him down to Lehigh Valley in the AHL if he passes through waivers. So essentially, it is a first round pick in 2025 in exchange for Sean Walker and a 2026 fifth round pick. For a right-hand defenseman in this market, where Chris Tanev gets a second and a conditional, a fourth, and then even Grushnikov, a prospect, I think Sean Walker for a late first makes sense. Throw in that they get a fifth back and they get to dump Ryan Johansen. I think this is a really good trade for the Avalanche. When you take into consideration the trade market, especially, essentially just a first round pick, a late first for Sean Walker, I don't mind this at all for the Colorado Avalanche. I think this is a solid deal for them. Let's start breaking it down now. Sean Walker, you know that meme of Shaquille O'Neal being, I got to apologize, I wasn't familiar with your game. That's me to Sean Walker. Sean Walker, I got to say, I have not given Sean Walker the respect that he quiet kind of guy, on the LA Kings. I'm not watching a lot of Pacific, West Coast games maybe. I always knew about Sean Walker, but I didn't really hear about him until he came to play for the Flyers. Understandably, I'm an East Coast guy. So I didn't really know much about Sean Walker aside from him being a right-handed defenseman until he came to the Flyers, where he's putting up career numbers this year, 22 points in 63 games. And if we look at the metrics right here on the J Fresh card, over the last 3 years, according to weighted average data, Sean Walker is a mobile second pair defenseman who loves to carry the puck into the offensive zone, kills penalties, and has leveled up at both ends of the ice in top 4 minutes this season. Can he sustain it on a new team? So the Avalanche get to move out Byram on the left side. They get to move out Ryan Johansen as middle six center. They bring in Casey Middlestat at middle six center and bring in Sean Walker for the right hand D to fill in for whatever Josh Manson or whoever's on that right side. This is a slam dunk in terms of the organizational buildup, but it's also good ROI, return on investment. It's a solid deal for the Avalanche here. As Narf says, Sean Walker has had his best year of his career so far this season. Also right-handed, which Bednar loves, Jared Bednar, the coach. This is a win, and $5 million in cap space still left. Another move could definitely happen. Absolutely. No salary retention needed. $2.7 million on Sean Walker in the 79th percentile of projected wins above replacement over the last 3 years. Huge jump over the last season as well. Big jump in offense, big jump in defense. You don't even need to really think about the offense. It's great that he's moving the puck. It's great that he's on both ends of the ice, but really he's been a great penalty killer. 98th percentile in the penalty killing. Woo-hoo-hoo. 91st percentile even strength offense, 56th for even strength defense, above average for goals and right at average for primary assists. He's playing against high levels of competition with low levels of teammates. So it goes to show how he's putting up great numbers despite not having much support around him. So on paper, this certainly looks like a player who would do very well in the Avalanche's blue line, says Jay Fresh. Looking at the 2023-24 microstat card here for Sean Walker, ridiculous stuff. Really, really impressive numbers that I was not familiar with. I gotta admit, I was not familiar, and I apologize to him. So you look at the even little things, chance contributions, in zone offense, but what he's really there for: the exits, the entry denial rate, both ways, neutral zone shot assists, entry chance prevention, retrieval success. That's a really underrated one. Retrieval success, really above average in just about everything. And the things that he's not above average in, I don't think it's a big deal. He's not above average in primary assists and chance assists. Exit possession rate, maybe that's something, but there's a lot of blue in here. There's a lot of good blue in here. Bent Leopard, thoughts on the Wenberg trade? Go ahead, click on the account, scroll down, go ahead and click on the lives and scroll a little bit. I was just live about a half an hour ago, and I gave all my thoughts on the Wenberg trade. I did the Wenberg, I did the Middlestat, now I'm on the Walker. I still got the Henrique, I got the Tarasenko. This is stream number 3 of 5 this afternoon, maybe more if more trades come. The penalty kill and moving puck are the biggest positives for the Avs. Makar can play less penalty kill now. Absolutely. If I look at the line combinations here for the Avalanche, sorry, I was just on the Sabres earlier, that's really big for their right side. On the left, now I have the big two in Taze and Girard. And on the right, I can have Makar and Walker. And now Manson can play third pair with Jack Johnson. That's a really good shutdown pair. That's like a low-key, underrated shutdown pair. A couple of old veterans who are able to get it done there, who are able to play top 4 minutes, but are going to be playing third pair minutes. Johnson and Manson on that third pair, I think that's an okay pair to have. Put Walker with Girard or whoever else. But yeah, you have to. And Taze with Makar, of course, still always on the top pair. Throw Walker on your penalty kill as well with Taze and take Makar off, or put him on the second unit maybe. Give him a little bit of time to breathe a little bit, the poor guy. And this is a great deal for the Avalanche. Now, what did they give up? Ryan Johansen going back the other way. He hasn't really lived up to what the Avalanche were hoping he would be this season. Moved more into a depth role than an offensive role, as we look right here. Veteran center, typically a playmaker, but couldn't generate any offense at all in Colorado, and ended up being more of a depth player. That's exactly what I'm saying, a defensive depth player. Low-key plays a bit physical, but takes a lot of penalties as a result. So that's the thing. So now Ryan Johansen, big dip and a gradual recovery, but looking at the offense, look at this drop in offense over the last season. That is the most shocking part here on Ryan Johansen. So over the last 3 years, weighted average data, below average for even strength offense by a good margin, and just about everything. Around average for even strength defense and the goals. The finishing is high. That's great, but really sad to see that these other numbers, which you thought would be better in Colorado, haven't really been that great. So Johansen this season, he was coming off of a 63 points in 79 games a couple of years ago, down year of 28 and 55, goes to the Avalanche, 23 and 63. What kind of minutes was he playing here in Colorado? Yeah, he was down to 10, 11, sometimes 14 minutes per night, when last year he was used to playing 15, even 16, 17, 19 a few years ago. So it was a really, he kept going further and further down for the ice time, ended with a season average of 13.39. Move him out, bring Middlestat in, so he gets to be just essentially a dump. The Flyers take on the cap hit, but they'll bury him in the AHL. He was making how much this season? $4 million. So that's really valuable as well. Not only did the Avalanche get to get rid of Ryan Johansen and bring value back, they get to dump $4 million next season. That cannot be overstated. That really must be highlighted. The Avalanche free up $4 million next year. They free up 3.875 on Byram. All they have to do is re-sign Middlestat now. Maybe they even keep Sean Walker. And in today's market, it only costs them a late first-round pick. I think that is really a tidy bit of business done by Joe Sakic right there. You have to free up the $4 million. You don't have a depth guy, third, fourth liner making that money anymore. You can have Ross Colton playing there instead. You don't need to dedicate $4 million. You lose your first-round pick. Is it not updated yet here? No, should be. Sean Walker's here. Yes. Was it? Oh, sorry. It's a 2025 first. That's why I was looking at 2024. So 2025 first goes. You still have 2024 and 2026 first round picks right there. Now the Avalanche are starting to dip more into their picks. No seconds the next couple of years. No third this year. But they still have first, second, and third in 2026. They have a third in 2025. Okay. Oh, sorry. Yeah, no, sorry. I always think Joe Sakic. McFarland, though. Yeah, sorry, Narf. I always think Joe Sakic. He's still in the shadows, though. He's still in the shadows. Tidy bit of business by McFarland and the Avalanche team there. So the Avalanche still are in a decent enough situation draft pick wise. They still have over $3 million to play with right now. And next year, you no longer have $4 million going to Ryan Johansen. All you got to really do is sign Casey Middlestat, take care of your depth, figure out what you want to do with Sean Walker, and that's about it. Maybe get a backup goalie. That's all you got to do. That's all you got to do. The Avalanche are in an okay spot. The Philadelphia Flyers, on the other hand, they had the money to spend a little bit here. They still have $3.9 million in cap space, so they had almost $8 million. They have almost $4 million now. Yeah, very interesting, Mila. Very interesting to see the markets. And they're looking good. They were supposed to be, I would have had, if I were a betting man, which I am not, if I were a betting man, I would have said that the Philadelphia Flyers would be a bottom 3 team in the NHL this season. So they really impressed. They have really impressed. And not only have they been a good team, but they have good picks to in the next few years while they still want to stay competitive as well. So they have 2 firsts and 2 seconds in this next draft, 2 firsts and 2 seconds in the next draft. So 4 picks in the first 2 rounds of the next 2 years. 5 million now. That 3 million includes 2 AHLs. They call it. Oh, okay. They actually have about 5 million. Good point there by Narf. Thank you. So the Flyers, meanwhile, still about 4 million to play with. And not much to figure out for this next season, really. Most of their core is signed on at least for next, or most of their squad signed on for at least 1 more year. What will they do with Ryan Johansen, who signed on for 1 more year at 4 million? They're going to put him in the AHL. They're going to put him on waivers. They have put him on waivers. We'll see what happens there. Are they still looking to? No, they're going to be. They re-signed. Where's the extension on Nick Seelar? Because he's on the injured reserve. That's why. So we got a lot of money tied up in these guys. Ryan Ellis, is he ever coming back? I don't know. Jamie Drysdale's coming back soon. So the defense should still be strong enough. They were able to move from a position of power, keep Nick Seelar, but move Sean Walker. There you go. Good little ROI. They got him in the Provorov trade. That's what it was. So it was Walker, Cal Peterson, and Grans with a second in exchange for Hodgson and Provorov. So in exchange for that, it's a good little ROI on the Provorov deal while they're still dealing with the sadness of Cal Peterson and all that. So I like it. I like it. Thank you, Narf. Appreciate you. Great work, Data. Need to get back to work. Love you, man. Love you, Narf. Thanks for your thoughts. Wonder what we're getting tonight. Maybe Gensel. Could be a Gensel trade tonight. Who knows? Who knows? What's the chance Ryan Johansen gets claimed? I would say almost 0. At 4 million, with how he's been doing, a team will take a chance on him if he gets bought out, maybe again. But I would say it's about 0 for him getting claimed right now. If he finds a home, it'll probably be next season. I'm not sure any teams that want to commit 4 million now in next year money just yet. So that's a trade, ladies and gentlemen. Ryan Johansen and a first going to the Flyers. I think there's value. It's not like they, it depends how you view it, but the Avalanche, they gave up a first and they get to dump Ryan Johansen in exchange for something that helps them a ton right now and throw in even a 5th in 2026. Why not throw a 5th in there? So I like this very, very much for the Avalanche. The Flyers get good value. That's about what the market's going for. They get a first-round pick. Ryan Johansen, who knows what he becomes? He's just a throwaway maybe. But at the very least, they get a first-round pick. They get to say, all right, we moved him. He's out. First-round pick back. We can continue our process of rebuilding or retooling, whatever you want to call it. The Avalanche got a big piece on the right side, big piece for the penalty killing, and a guy who's had an incredible career year. If he can continue that pace, and Mittelstadt continue that pace, the Avalanche may have just put themselves in the more than the conversation. They're definitely at the top for Stanley Cup contenders right now. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is the third of 5 datacasts at the very least. Coming up next in about, let's say, 7 minutes at 5:10 p.m. Eastern, we'll have the Adam Henrique breakdown. So stay tuned on the YouTube channel for that. Subscribe if you haven't already. Turn on notifications for breaking news trade breakdowns as they happen. And of course, join us on the Discord server to talk more sports. Leave a comment down here if you're an Avalanche fan or a Flyers fan. Who do you think wins this trade? Was the value fair? Could either side have gotten a little bit more? Are you content with it? I want to hear all your thoughts. Thank you for joining me on this DataCast breakdown. Leave a like if you enjoyed, and we'll be back in a few minutes with the Adam Henrique breakdown, the 4th of at least 5 as the trade deadline week continues to heat up. Thanks for being here, and we'll talk very, very soon.